you're trying to point to something and you could just say the truth, which is like, we're not a match.
Totally. When people show you who they are, we bow to them.
Believe them.
We bow to them.
Why would I be wearing the cinched leggings if I didn't want them to be seen?
Little touches of physical attraction. And I remember just watching it and being like, I don't know how to do that.
I actually am doing this successfully, and you're trying to shame me and like bring it back down to like where you're at.
You're someone I could settle for, but I'm not ready to settle yet.
Butts are so good.
Sometimes I hear a voice. Sometimes something shakes me. Sometimes there's a noise when there shouldn't be a noise. Hey, baby buns. Welcome back. This is Not For Everyone, a podcast hosted by a hater and a lover. How you doing, Jess, my lover?
I'm doing okay. I'm really cuddled up right now, and I'm about to bring a familiar energy. I was about to say a new energy, but I do think this is my energy like 70% of the time.
I want to clarify for people not watching on YouTube who don't have the visual that when Jess is cuddled up, she's not like wrapped up in a blanket. She's not in her bed. She's sitting normal style. She just has her shoulders really high up next
My
to her
shoulders are
ears.
high. And my sweatshirt is like one of those quarter zips with a high neck.
Zips. Ooh,
and it's zipped up high. And I do actually have a blanket. You just can't see it. And let me reveal that it is our colors. I'm wearing an orange sweatshirt and this purple blanket. So
nice.
I'm cuddled and I'm on brand. And I'm here to listen to everything you want to tell me today.
Well, first I want to tell you that you're colorblind because your sweatshirt's red and your blanket's white. But I don't know what colors you thought those were. You thought that was orange and purple?
Yes. Okay. It looks a little bit distorted on the screen. I'm going to take a picture and send it to you later. Okay. The blanket really, the camera's not picking up how purple it is.
Yeah.
But it is.
It's just the camera. It's just the camera on your phone and the camera on
all
the
cameras. Cameras don't understand me.
Everyone's crazy. This camera's gaslighting you.
Okay, I have a purple water bottle.
That is a green water bottle, Jess. Do you have a fever?
Stop it. Now I need to leave.
It is a purple water bottle.
What's up with you?
Oh, not anything ever.
I can't answer that question. I wasn't prepared for that. There was this
tell me.
There was this guy on Love is Blind this season who came into the pods with all these questions for the girls, and then they would be like, oh, how about you? They'd answer his question and then be like, oh, how about you? And he was like, oh, I wasn't prepared for somebody to like ask that back. Whatever you just did.
So he just
reminded
me
of that. He was like, yeah, he just couldn't figure out his own answers to the questions that he had prepared for them. He was really like interview style with it. It didn't work well for him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Wish him all the best.
All the best.
Yeah. I've come up with this is our pod. This is our Love is Blind pod.
Okay.
And I have a question for you.
Oh, like we're talking to each other behind a wall.
Yeah, you called it the pod, and Love is Blind. They talk in a pod, right?
That is what it is.
And this is a pod.
It is. Yeah. Okay.
Cool. Here's my question. How much do you care about looking cute at the gym?
It differs. It changes. It's a good question. I am really lucky to go to a gym where I don't feel pressure to look cute. And that took a really long time to find in my life. Most gyms, I feel like I have historically wanted to look cute, especially if you go to like spin class or yoga class or just like a classroom setting type of thing. I feel like that's when I especially want to look cute because it's not just like me on a treadmill in a gym. It's like a group of us together in a class and people might be looking at me.
Yeah, everyone's lined up looking at each other's butts.
Yes. So that matters more. But at the gym that I go to right now in Chicago, it's just like a very chill, inclusive space. And I don't really care that much. That being said, some days I'll turn it up a notch when I know that they're going to be filming some social media promotion. And I'm always like, put me in the reel. Put me in the reel. I did my eyebrows. So yeah, there's like a little bit of that. What about you?
Okay, nice. I think I'm rancid with it. I
Rancid.
I'm rancid with it. I always want to look cute at the gym, even if nobody else is there. It's like I need that motivation for
Mm,
myself. Um, yeah, it honestly feels hard to go work out if I can't get myself feeling a little cute about myself first.
yeah.
It feels like a bigger hurdle, which is my own pathology for sure. I'm not saying that's correct. I'm saying it's definitely incorrect. But
It's a it's a
yeah.
common motivator. I feel like a lot of people would relate to that.
Well, I think it gets you like if you can get a little momentum for anything of like feeling good, then it's easier to start doing hard things. And
Hmm.
obviously being at the gym, it's like there's mirrors and I have to like look at my thighs rubbing against each other nonstop. And you're thinking about your body so much and everyone else's stupid bodies are around.
Hmm.
So I feel like I do like to look cute at the gym, literally, even if I know nobody else will be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I I relate. I have noticed that you look cute at the gym and you'll like,
Thank you for saying that.
yeah, I've never been to the gym with you, but I just know that.
Okay.
I just know that from, following your online presence.
Oh my
And
God.
I have kind of
Yeah.
wondered, like, does she just do this when she's filming at the gym or is it all the time? And I think I kind of sensed that it was probably all the time. Like you have the cute sets and like colorful outfits.
Mm-hmm.
I pretty much wear the same like three pairs of leggings that I wash every weekend
Yeah.
and like main few t-shirts that are my favorite like big workout t-shirts. And I would say I look put together because
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just like completely mismatched. And I'll usually wear this bright orange sweatshirt and like it'll look a little bit put together, but it's not a cute out. It's not cute. It's just like I can be in public without feeling completely ashamed. That's the level
I've
that I'm currently at.
I've never seen you not looking cute. So I find that hard to
Thank you.
believe, but maybe it's that your cute barometer is what's the word I'm thinking for? Fucked.
I'm really trying to put myself in the barometer. Fucked?
Not fucked, but like it's off. Like
Maybe,
your cute standard is higher. I've never seen you not cute.
maybe.
I've never seen you not cuting.
Thank you so much. I feel like there's actually a petty complaint in here.
Yeah.
It's actually not a petty complaint. I think it's a real complaint.
Oh my
I
God.
really have a hard time with finding the cute gym attire. Like, I kind
Yeah.
of want it. I've been on the lookout for it. I would say, like, in the winter, I don't care as much, but when spring is coming,
Yeah.
I get like this something fills my soul that's like, need to go and buy cute gym outfits. Like, it just happens every year around this time. And I've been looking for brands that I don't know, like are not doing something different, but just feel like they'll be um
Anything? Like they're
anything.
doing anything?
Like they're
No,
doing
I
anything.
like they're doing
Exactly.
anything. I feel like there's like three and a half brands. You have to be a millionaire to shop there, and
Yep.
they're not even doing anything.
They're not
I've
doing anything.
I've gotten the things before, and then it's like, well, that's still nothing. And I paid $1 million.
Yep. Yeah. So I think part of my like not going as hard on being cute at the gym is just because
Yeah.
I haven't really found like my go-to workout brand that I feel like has the right like seams versus seamless, has the right colors for me,
Mm,
has the right like thickness of material that's like perfectly compressive but also like gives me space and breathing room, that like
yeah.
has my size, that has XYZ, a price range that I like all of those things combined into one workout brand I have not really found. And so
Yeah.
I think that's part of the reason. And it's kind of frustrating because there are so many brands out there, but it seems like they're all the same and they're all nothing.
Yeah.
And and I don't know. It's like an age-old problem that many brands have tried to like innovate and do things differently. Like these leggings are like sweat wicking, like four-way stretch, moisture control. Like they say all the buzzwords for their like feature set of their product. And I'm not really sold.
Yeah. How do you feel about those leggings that are like they cinch your asshole?
I'm wearing one right now.
Are you gonna show me your butt?
Sure.
Okay. Thank
It's
God
not
we have
one of the
YouTube.
most extreme cinches.
Some of them are
Um,
so intense.
yeah, I got like a more subtle one.
The subtle cinch.
Okay,
Okay,
I'm gonna try to
I'm
figure out how I'm gonna show.
show me your butt. Show me your butt. Show me your butt immediately.
It looked really good actually. I'm like catching
It
a
looks
glimpse of that.
really I guess I love how you just bent over a chair for me. Whoa.
I'm fine with that
That
staying on YouTube, I would say. I think I'm fine with that. That's why would I be
um
wearing the cinched leggings if I didn't want them to be seen?
I don't know that I would even call that a cinched legging. And like,
It's
you
a
know, I mean,
subtle,
it's doing the
yes.
correct thing. I think it's doing the correct thing. It's splitting them the way that they should be
Yeah, it's
split.
splitting them,
But
but it doesn't
you know
have the
those
weird
ones?
like
Yes, the it's like
ruching.
ruching. The ruching. First of
Yeah.
all, I can't be seen without a ruched asshole. It's like I've never worn those ones, but I see them sometimes at the gym, and I saw one last night on a girl. And like, first of all, want to squeeze it. Let me say that It's working on me. Second of all, I feel like we're having sex. I'm not even here to condemn it. I'm like, works on me. I want it. I want
Right.
that. And I actually have a big problem at the gym of I think I do what a lot of like men learn that they're not supposed to do around the age of
Mm.
like 14, which is just like staring at women's bodies
You have a
because
problem with staring in general.
I have a problem with staring in general, and I love a good body. And a good body could be anything. There's so many different bodies that I love. Um and I will stare. I think I've never I it's very rare that I've been punished. Like society hasn't properly domesticated me the way that young boys for the most part
Yeah.
have been taught not to stare directly. Like I haven't really faced consequences, and I will stare at women.
Well, I think the reason that you haven't been properly like scolded for that is because, at least I'll speak for
I'm a
myself.
woman. It's because I'm a
You're a
woman.
woman, but because also like as a woman, I'm flattered if a woman is admiring how I look. Like, not that I'm not flattered when a man is admiring how I look, but
But
I
it
don't
makes you
want them to be
uncomfortable.
creepy about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like I only want that from certain men at certain times in certain places, whatever. But with women, it's like, yeah, ask me where I got my leggings because my butt looks great. Like, I would love for you to be
Yeah.
staring and for you to like give me that compliment and for us to like share trade secrets. Like,
Yeah.
that's the fun of being a woman.
Yeah, I think what I need to do, I think after listening to you, what I need to do is just start asking people where they got their stuff
Yeah.
because that's the one thing I'm not doing. And so instead, I'm staring at them for an hour. And I
Okay.
think that's what makes it weird. Yeah. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. That's a good takeaway for you.
Thank
I love
you.
asking people where they got their stuff. I feel like that's the
You
way the
get,
world goes round. Yeah.
yeah.
These leggings, it was funny on the site. I've always seen those ruched butt leggings and been like, should I buy some? My butt's
I
already
want
like doing
to.
well as it is, I think, but
Yeah.
would always, benefit from accentuation.
The ruche is
And
fun because it's like they're like little arrows. You get little seams pointing to where the butt crack is
totally.
in case you can't find it. It's
I
like
feel like I
here.
might, I know it's like
It's like
here.
here. It's
Yeah.
here.
It's like one of those wacky inflatable arm men outside of a car wash being like, car wash here.
Butthole here.
Yeah.
Butthole here.
Yeah. But so I was like, maybe I should look into those. But I think that the ruching is a little, I couldn't like jump off the deep end right away. I needed to get
Baby
like
ruche.
stepwise towards there. And it was so funny on the website for these leggings. I actually
Yeah.
genuinely forget what the brand is,
You
but
said
they
get
had
stepwise.
levels
You said
stepwise.
I have to get
Okay, I
stepwise.
don't, yeah, that was weird phrasing, but stepwise is something the project manager Jess says, I think.
I gotta get stepwise with
Got
my
to get
butt
stepwise
crack.
about it. Yeah, the website had like levels to the leggings you could order. It was like medium ruche, extreme ruche, like, and there were models that showed like the level that each legging would like ruche
Highlight.
your butt and highlight your butt. Rouge your butt. I don't know what the word is. But yeah, they
I'm
had
looking at
levels. It was really funny. And I was like, like
I'm
I really
gonna
spent a long time thinking about which level I should buy. I think I
how do you
bought the
spell
lesser.
ruche? How do you spell ruche?
Ruche.
Okay, cool. I just Googled butt rouge. And it's
Mhm.
good.
It's
It's
good.
good.
You can just
It's
look at it at
good.
home. You don't even need to stare at girls at the gym.
Rouge butt.
You could just play
I
back my video for the
Wow.
rest of time.
Yeah, it's actually getting me a lot of stuff that really isn't what I meant to be looking at.
Oh, shoot.
But oh shoot, scrunch rooshed butt. Um
Scrunch. That's a word.
Scrunch.
Scrunch.
I
This
think I'm
morning,
a
I texted
pervert.
Caroline and I
Oh
was
yeah.
like, can we be really stupid today? And so that's what you're seeing live. I'm feeling great about it already.
Oh, I feel like I'm talking about the deepest things in my soul right now. I feel like I'm digging deep.
I wasn't sure if
Yeah.
when you first brought up this topic, you were going for like, let's get into a conversation about how to motivate yourself to go to the gym. And
No,
I'm glad that
no.
that's not where we ended up personally.
No. No, 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 no. I'm talking about being a pervert. Sometimes I want to squeeze butts.
Me too. Butts are so good. They're
Yeah,
so good. I think
they're
about them
so
all
good.
the time.
So when I was a child,
Uh-oh.
yeah, I don't know if you remember this, probably not, but when I was a child, I didn't know how to express physical affection in a safe way because I hadn't experienced it in my life. And all I knew was violence. And so sometimes when I would get really excited, I was a really hyperactive kid. And when I get really excited, I would like smack people's butts.
Ah,
And it wasn't when I was angry. It was never like an anger outburst. It was always when I was like really excited. I didn't know what to do with my energy and I was excited with somebody and I like squeezed their butt or smacked their butt. This was literally probably like first grade through probably through like fifth grade at least.
okay.
And
It doesn't it doesn't not
it
ring a
doesn't
bell.
yeah, okay. Yeah, it was actually a pretty big problem. Like I had a lot of shame around it because it's like several people had to have talks with me.
Mm.
I was eventually when I was 8 years old, I was kicked off of my soccer team for smacking butts too much. And
Oh.
it was like it was a big scandal and I was really ashamed about it.
Oh.
And I've thought about it a lot recently because I think I could have a
It's
little more
coming back.
compassion because it's going going back. First of all, I do love a butt, but also I think like now I can look back with compassion and be like, I didn't, I had never experienced soft, physical interaction, and I didn't know how to do it, and I didn't know what to do with my energy,
Yeah.
and I also felt like
I'm sorry.
I
I
don't know.
just thought of something.
What did you think of? What do you think of?
When you said that you had never experienced soft affection, I thought you were about to say soft butts.
Never experienced a butt like that. Let me get my hands on that.
I was like, I don't know. I feel like the Winklers are a family of really nice
Oh,
butts and thighs,
we're
that
butts. Yeah.
yeah, definitely
We're
blessed in that department. You were
yeah,
around some soft butts.
we're a family of butts, but
Yeah.
I don't think I was ever allowed to touch any of them, which is
Sure, sure.
I think that's correct. I think that's good. I
Yeah.
think that was a correct parenting call that we didn't touch each other's butts. But
What an iconic reason. I know I'm making light of something that like was embed, like came from trauma as a child, but what an iconic reason to get kicked off a soccer team. Like, oh, I was smacking asses just left and right. They couldn't handle me. Like, if that was my kid, I'd be like, honestly, go off. Like, love you. You're
like what
doing
you need
everything right.
what you need to picture is you remember how short, teeny tiny I was too. Like I was
Yes.
always the front of the when we always are in our school, we always had to line up in height order, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that's what they always
We were
do
next to
in
each other a lot.
elementary school. Yeah, you and I were both shorties, shorty patorties. And I was like super short, super mousy, smacking ass all day long. And it actually, I think it really did scar a lot of people. But that being said, it was a big deal. It was like a big scandal on the soccer team because my parents were like infuriated that I was being kicked off the team, and they were like, "She's not doing that," and I was like, "Yeah, I am." And then it was a
No,
big
I
fight.
definitely am.
I'm like, "That's true," but I thought I was doing it. But it was confusing to me because I was like, "But I'm just joyous. I'm just joyful. I'm just playing. This is how people play. Like you've never been hit before,"
Yeah.
and so it was really confusing to me. But um
What
yeah, but now I just like a juicy chunk.
what made you like grow out of that? Was it just getting in trouble for it repeatedly and just stopping, or was there like a come to Jesus moment? Was there a specific moment or realization or like, I don't know,
I
therapy,
had
guidance counselor or
I
something?
I had very I had at least two talking tos from friends' parents being
Wow.
like, you have to stop.
Okay.
And yeah, there was a lot of shame around that. And also they were like, that's appropriate intervention. Um,
Yeah.
like that's appropriate intervention. And so I felt like an appropriate amount of shame around it, I guess, as a kid. And then eventually I stopped, but I never really figured out how to touch people.
Mm,
Um, Especially mostly with, I think mostly platonically. Like I'm really talking about platonically.
yeah.
I feel very comfortable physically in romantic relationships, but I very specifically remember watching like our high school friends hanging out as girls. You know, somebody's laying in the other's lap, somebody's doing
Mm,
somebody's hair, and these very like easy ways that girls touch each other in a platonic way. And it's like little touches of physical interaction. And I remember just watching it and being like, I don't know how to do that. Um, so it's always been kind of a weird, I think, a weird thing. And sometimes I like I can do it now, but it feels very strange.
yeah, I really relate to that. I feel I totally have the exact same memories of being in like middle and high school, and
Mm,
everybody would hang out in the hallway, like sitting on the floor before classes started, and seeing the ways that friends just like, yeah, kind of cuddled up to each other or whatever they were doing. And that always was like really sweet and endearing to me and like seemed like a nice way to connect with friends, but was not something that came comfortably to me and like not something that I understood or even ever like tried. And I feel like
mm,
even to this day, like I've gotten a little bit more cuddly with friends. I honestly think that being in relationships, romantic relationships that have allowed me to lean into being physically affectionate has then like transferred to some of my friendships where like because my boyfriend has taught me to be more comfortable being physically affectionate, I
uh-huh.
can now do it with my best friends.
Yeah.
But the platonic, that is such a thing. Like the platonic physical affection amongst women
Yeah.
is is a thing and is very confusing to navigate for some people. For a lot of people, I would venture to say that we are not rare. I've talked to some other friends about this. And
Yeah.
then I simultaneously have some friends who have always been really like natural with that and like never found it weird and were always the people who would like kind of initiate that type of
Just kind of
connection with
thoughtlessly,
friends. Yeah.
effortlessly. Yeah.
Yeah. And they don't
And
think anything's weird about that either, you know?
well, it's not weird. It's
Yeah.
definitely not weird. And I craved it. Like I really, really wanted it, but I just, um, couldn't figure out like how to do it in a normal way, not like a
Hmm.
freak.
I still don't know. I still don't know how. And I guess like at this age, I don't know. It's like a weird time to learn or
Yeah.
something. But my best friend Kai is very physically affectionate as a friend and like
Mm.
I would say, and I know we just had this conversation a couple weeks ago, me, her, and another friend, and both me and the other friend were saying that Kai was like the instrumental girlfriend that showed us how that could look. Because
Oh.
she, for whatever reason, is very able to be physically affectionate and cuddly with girlfriends. And I feel like that's my first memory of being that way with a friend. And now between that and like romantic relationships, it's gotten like a little bit easier, but I'll only do it with
Yeah.
some people who I know really well. Like I'm always a hugger, but just the like sitting close to each other on the couch or like putting your head on their shoulder or whatever. One of my best friends, Mary, she'll come to visit me and want to like, she'll be very excited to come visit me, stay with me, and sleep in my bed. And like, oh my gosh, we're gonna cuddle and like, can I sleep in your bed instead of
Oh
sleeping on
my
the
God,
couch?
cuddling with a girl, that
Oh,
is insane to me.
I'm
Not, I
like
mean, it's
very
normal,
flattered.
but I
Yeah,
can't
it's
do
very
it.
sweet and I'm
I
very
can't do
flattered
it.
by it. And I'm also like, maybe like it takes me like weeks of mental preparation to be like, yeah, we could do that. It's totally normal and cool that you even like
Well,
said
it
that.
is
And so
normal.
because it is normal, but I
It is
feel
normal. I can't do it. I feel
it's
like a
not
freak.
normal
I'm
to
like,
me.
be
Yeah.
chill, be chill.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, cuddling. Girls cuddling. That one
Girls cuddling.
I don't think I'll ever get to that. No.
I think we
I
missed
wish.
the moment where we
I
could
think we
have like
did.
unlocked something with that. Maybe we should have helped each other.
Well, I know we could practice cuddling on our upcoming work trip as a write-off, as a tax write-off,
We
as a
have
business expense. We
set
cuddled all
aside 30
night.
minutes every day to just lay and hold each other.
We're just crying. We're both just crying and recording it. I just assume it comes to how you were raised. Like, is your
Yeah.
family physically affectionate? I'm guessing no.
No, not really.
Yeah,
My dad is actually probably the most physically affectionate of all of us, which is
that checks
really
out.
sweet in a household of like three women and my dad. It does check out. He's such a cuddly bear. And so he is like big on the hugs and the like big
Ugh, I
smooch
just
on
got a
your
shiver.
cheek. Smooch on your cheek. Like he's such a loving person physically and with words too. And my mom is not physically or with words very affectionate. It's way more acts of service and like,
Yeah,
yeah, just like doing things for us.
yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. It's like my dad did that, but the rest of us, my sister and I, like still are kind of weird about hugging each other, but I make her do it. Um, I don't know. It's like we're very close and like we say I
Yeah.
love you. Actually, that's maybe newer too for her. I make her love me, basically.
Yeah, they're all just different family cultures. I get it.
Yeah.
I think it's why we're both so upset about there's so many people who disagree with us on the podcast when we talk about parents kissing their kids on the mouth.
Did
And
people disagree?
yeah, people totally disagreed. You got to look at the YouTube comments, dog.
YouTube, it's
Yeah.
a different audience on YouTube than it is
It's
on
a different
Instagram.
world.
On Instagram, everyone was like, yeah, it's fucking weird.
No, no, no. People will tell you, people will object on YouTube. And it's an environment of empowerment. And that's totally fine. I know
Yeah.
that. It's a neutral thing, but yeah, even when you said your dad will
You're like,
I I literally shivered in
oh,
repulsion.
well, just picture the sweet. He's like 5'5", round, brown, bald. Get a hug from that guy. You're happy for
Oh, I
weeks.
would love it. I would love it. I
He's
would
so
love it.
cute.
I have to probably go to do more therapy. Probably.
I need to be able by the end of this therapy to hug Jess's dad. Can we make
Yeah.
that happen?
Well, I have to at least be able to kiss him. Or what am I
Please.
doing?
He's been waiting. He heard about you smacking the butts and he said, "That girl, I'm gonna show her love."
Smacking ass. I wish I could love your dad, right? Okay, next topic. What do you want to talk about?
Hey. I don't know where to go from there. Mhm. I have so many weird topics written down. Okay. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. If you're not familiar with BetterHelp, it's an online therapy platform that can help match you with a therapist that's right for you. Everybody's therapy journey is so personal, and that's what's great about BetterHelp. It's convenient, flexible, suited to your schedule, and it's really just a great way to get your feet wet if you've been thinking about starting or going back to therapy.
I mean, obviously, everybody knows Jess and I are obsessed with therapy. We won't stop talking about it. A few months ago, I was looking for a new therapist through my insurance, and I think I talked about it on the podcast. It was like pulling teeth to find a therapist, get an appointment, and God forbid I'd been in like a serious acute mental health crisis. I don't know how anyone in that position can be expected to connect with professional help for themselves. So what I do really love about BetterHelp is that they make it ridiculously easy to get connected with a therapist.
Totally. We love therapy. I honestly don't think this podcast would exist if not for therapy. Not only do we reference it all the time, but I just don't know that I'd be able to show up and be so expressive and so comfortable and so honest if I hadn't been in therapy for all these years. And I think that applies to any job or any relationship. Like, we just want to show up and be ourselves. And that is a lot harder than it sounds. I think if you listen to this podcast, then you know that very well. And so do we. And therapy is what we owe for getting a little bit closer to finding that sweet spot. So find your social sweet spot with BetterHelp.
You can visit betterhelp.com/notforeveryone today to get 10% off your first month. That is betterhelp, HELP.com/notforeveryone.
I have a crazy dating story that is not mine because I'm
Nuh-uh.
not doing that, but a
Right.
friend of mine. It's not crazy, but it is kind of crazy. So
Okay.
she went on a first date. This is my friend Libby, who a few episodes ago I told everyone the story of how she got snails mailed to her when she ordered skincare from Clinique. So she's just like having a crazy life.
Snail
She's just
queen still.
experiencing things that the rest of us aren't experiencing.
Okay,
And
cool.
she went on a first date with somebody, felt like it was a fine date. She actually said to me, like, it wasn't like sparks were flying, but it also wasn't red flags. So I kind of felt good about it. Like it was just two people being normal on a first date. And I was like, great, that's like a
That's
good, solid
rare.
starting point. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they even on their first date had said, like, okay, in a few days, whatever, Tuesday, it was Thursday. They said for Tuesday, let's get drinks that night. So they already planned their second date. Cool. A couple days later, she gets a message from him on Hinge, and hold on. It says, "Hey Libby, I do think we could make it work, but I also think we can find better matches. I am not really a pet guy, unfortunately, and I did not have the heart to say it last week. I wish you the best." So, context, Libby doesn't have pets or care about having pets. It's like not a priority in her life to have a pet.
The
I
snails. You heard about the snails.
You
You
heard
heard
about
about
the
the
snail.
snails.
She was going like the following week she was planning to go home to her parents and to dog sit for them while they were out of town. So her parents have dogs, but like she doesn't live there. She doesn't have pets
So good.
herself.
I'm so confused.
And that must have been the way this guy just decided. She referenced her parents' dogs, and this guy decided, oh, she's a pet person. Can't be with me.
Did she
Isn't
talk
that
about it?
wild?
Like, did she talk
No,
about the dogs a lot? Like, she was so excited to go dog sit, and that's all she talked about?
I doubt it. I mean, obviously I wasn't there, but she said no. It was like a quick mention because she was just telling him like next week I'm going to be out of town dog sitting for my parents. That's like
And he
literally the sentence.
and he's like, I'm not a parent guy. You're obsessed with your parents, so I can't. I'm
I
not a weekend
also
guy.
I also found the part of
That's
his text
that's
that was like,
wild.
I do think we could make it work, but I also think we can find better matches. Like that's just
That's
also
crazy.
like how people are.
That's the text. What that is you're someone I could settle for. You're someone I could settle for, but I'm not ready to settle yet.
True.
So unnecessary. So unnecessary.
True. And
So
then she goes,
unnecessary.
obviously my advice to her
That's
was like
awesome.
I just wouldn't respond. This guy's like
No, 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 no,
crazy.
no. No, no, no. What's great now is that you can say anything to this
You could
person
say
because it
anything.
doesn't
That's
matter.
true. That's true. Or I wish she was just like, okay, well, I'm not like a weird like lie. I don't know what do you even call this guy, but like, oh, I that's fine because I'm also not into like guys that pick a really lame reason to not want to go on a second date or something. You could be super sassy with it.
I think I would be like, I'm not ready to give up on us. So we have to.
That would be
Yeah.
better. She said, "Wait, I'm so confused. Did we talk about pets? I don't own any animals?" Question mark. He said, "I knew you said you were dog sitting several weekends for your parents, and I just thought you would probably want a pet at some point. I guess I just
Whoa.
don't want to hold you back if you did."
Whoa. Whoa.
The audacity on this man, the
Well,
assumptions that are
okay.
happening.
I think I immediately assume that's not a real assumption and that's an excuse.
It is an
Either
excuse.
either either that's an assumption and that's a crazy person to make that assumption,
Yeah.
or he was like, "Oh, I don't want to say that I didn't connect with this person, so I'm going to come up with a reason which is a way less sensical reason and is going to create way more confusion and way more back and forth, and then she's going to debate me on this and then we're going to be back at
Mm-hmm.
square one." And so
Mm-hmm.
you're also a crazy person to me. That's insane.
Right? I know. I also feel like you don't need to give a reason to people. Like the fact that he was
No.
looking for a reason to point to is
No.
like, that's not necessary. You went on one date. just say, hey, it's not the vibe I'm looking for. Wish you the best. You don't need to point to
Yeah.
something that was said on the date that was the reason that you're declining this person.
Ooh,
Like
not
that
at
is
all.
just a wild. And then to go one
In
step
fact,
further
yeah.
and choose something that's like really out there and invalid and just a complete excuse is like, are you just like, who raised you? Like, I'm genuinely concerned. This is like a 34-year-old man that I don't know, seems like he should maybe have had experiences that showed him not to be this way prior.
I feel like he equally valid as that invalid text would be him being like, "Hey, listen, I'm not ready to settle for you, and also, I just really don't want uh my in-laws to move in with us." And she'd be like,
Yes.
she'd be like, "What?" And he'd be like, "Well, sounded like you talk to your parents a lot, and I don't know, one day you might want them to move in with us, and I don't want to hold you back from that, but I don't want that."
Right. That is the same text. It's the exact
Okay,
same
that's
text.
the exact same text, but it actually references something she's more actually engaged with.
Right. Yeah.
Listen, all you have to do is say, "I could make this work if I was really desperate, but I'm not ready to settle yet. I still have good years left in me. Look at me, I'm still hot for a couple more years, so I'm not going to settle for you, bitch."
That's what it is. That's
That's
what
the
it is.
text.
Yeah, it really shook me to my core. And she was like, I would love for you to read this on the podcast and see what Caroline has to say. So here we go.
I mean, dodged a bullet. You know, when
A
people
hundred
show you
percent.
who they are, we bow to them.
Believe them.
We bow to them.
Yeah.
We bow to them.
Oh, he is above animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It is dodging a bullet. Anybody who would make up that excuse after one date is like not well, not someone that you're going to want to
That is
spend more and
so
more time with.
confusing. That is so confusing.
Hmm.
Maybe that was a true assumption. Maybe that is really what he thought. Whatever.
Whatever,
That's
dude. Yeah, it
so
probably,
crazy.
I don't know. On one hand, I'm like, maybe he's that dumb that it is what he really thought,
Yeah, people do
but
be dumb. People do be
they
that.
do be. They do
Yeah.
be. Doobie doobie do.
That's
Anywho.
true. That's true. Have you ever had a really crazy breakup text?
Ooh, I wish. Honestly, I wish. I feel like I've had way more ghosting scenarios than anything else.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, have I had a crazy one? Have you?
I think the craziest one was when that guy broke up with me over something you said on the podcast.
Oh, right.
Remember that?
That was so stupid.
That was awesome. And then I like played back. I was like, "Please for sure break up with me." But just so we're clear, you're
It
breaking
wasn't
up with
even
me.
something I
I was
said.
like, "You're breaking up with me over something my friend said." And he was like, "Oh, well, no, that was fine." Blah, 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 blah.
It's
And
like, oh,
then
because we were both laughing about it. Because laughing actually means we were joking, but
well,
that's
what you
cool.
had said, I think
It's about
ultimately, who
DJs,
knows?
right?
It was something, yeah, it was when I was dating the DJ by accident.
But the
And
thing is
he,
that the DJ, what is DJ, was your brainchild. And I was
all
just like
at
having
before, but it
fun
was, well, it was my brainchild before I'd ever met
before
this
knowing him.
person. I didn't
Yeah.
even know it exists. Probably before he even became a DJ. You can do that in like an afternoon. And it was probably long before he even became a skilled disc jockey. And
Right.
then we
Disco
later
jockey,
met, disc
according to
jockey.
my dad.
And we, ended up going on some dates, blah, blah, blah. I told him about the podcast, blah, blah, blah. I asked him about DJing, la, la, la. And
Yeah.
then and then at one point he listened to some episode where I realized later, like weeks later after this breakup, the thing he was upset about um was the comment when you were like, these men, we weren't talking about him, first of all. We were telling a story. I had told a story. We weren't
Yeah.
talking about DJs at all. I had told a story to explain why it stresses me out on dates when people ask what music I like, because I never know how
Right.
to answer that question.
Oh, right.
And I told the story about how when I was in high school, a guy specifically bullied me over my music taste.
Yeah.
And then you responded compassionately talking about this guy you dated in high school. And you were like, these guys jerking off to music in their basement.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah. Oh, he didn't like that.
he didn't like that comment.
Ooh,
And
you are
and weeks
definitely jerking off to music in your basement, my guy.
weeks later, I didn't put it together, but weeks later, so I was like, he was just like, I know lots of people of all genders and all orientations who like music, la la la.
Who
It's really
jerk off to
offensive,
music. Yeah.
I guess. And And I was just like, "Oh, I guess that could be an offensive comment if you I guess if you don't understand jokes or I don't know." Okay, that's fine. And then weeks later, I remembered that when I was at his house, he did take me to his basement where he had
Oh,
a recording setup. So I think maybe he thought it was like
more
a
closely tied to
dig.
him.
I think maybe he thought it was an actual dig about him, which it
Mm,
wasn't. It was a poor coincidence that
I didn't know
you
that at
said.
all.
Of course you didn't know that. I didn't
What
even
if I
fucking
had
know that.
said like in an attic? Would that have been better?
I doubt it. Any kind of crawl space that you could
I
jerk
just
off
feel
in.
like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense, but I also just
I
feel like
well, he didn't
if
even say that.
something like
I'm
that,
I'm piecing
you
it
deduced
together.
it. Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
piecing it together. I think it maybe he thought it was a slight at him, but I didn't
Either
say it and it
way,
wasn't. And oh, either way you don't have a sense of humor.
exactly. Either way, like if you're getting that upset about something that one is clearly a joke, but even if you take it seriously, two is not directly about you,
Also,
like
let's
it's
say
just a
let's
general
say
comment, that means it
yeah.
must be about you. Basically, what you're saying is like, oh, shoot, she's exactly describing me, and that's why I'm so upset about it. Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I just made a joke that's not based on anyone about jerking off in a basement to
Yeah.
music. And
Well,
if for you to be like, oh, I find that so personally offensive means that you do that. You must. Like, otherwise, why would you be personally offended?
well,
It's not,
mostly I just feel like I don't care if he does it or not.
I
Like
also
any
don't either.
we should I feel like I hang out with people who joke. Like I joke about where I masturbate and it's worse place than base
Totally. It's more, oh,
and
please.
it's the
It's
worst
all
things.
over.
It's the worst things than music. It's in worse places than basements and it's in worse things than music.
That's it.
And it's funny. And that's funny. And that's why I like to laugh all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the
But
point of masturbating if you're going to just do
if
it in one place in
it
silence? Actually seems like you're really missing out. He should have taken it as a suggestion, maybe, if that,
makes
yeah,
up the room.
move this to the basement, move this to the recording studio, my guy. You're gonna have a great time.
I mean, this is not to say that he shouldn't break up with me. He also went on to give him credit because I don't. Well, he's gonna be so mad that
What
I said
who cares?
any of this. He's gonna be
It's been
so
like a
mad.
year since that, probably.
I know, but I love him, and, and
If he has grown a sense of humor in the last year, maybe he could handle.
not looking good. But what I would say, I think he also went on to say, to his credit, that he was like, I want to be with somebody who is really respectful of the industry I'm in. And that's very
Sure.
legitimate. Yeah, he
Yeah.
fucking should be. And
And who's like super into it and stuff too. That's
yeah,
fine. You're
I guess
totally
I should say I don't not respect the music industry, but also like I'm not into it that much and I like to make jokes. So I make jokes about everything including my own
everything.
industry.
Yeah.
Everything, mostly my own industry, but
Yeah.
also yeah, so I don't mean to say that he shouldn't have ended it over that. Like he should. But I was just annoyed that that the thing he pointed to was something a joke that you made about a guy I dated in high school. That
Right.
felt confusing.
Yeah. It's another example, honestly, of like kind of looking for an excuse. Like maybe the truth of it
Yeah,
was
he didn't
like,
want to date me.
this
He didn't
isn't a
like me.
match. She's not really into the stuff I'm into. Those are totally fair reasons. And then to be like, it was specifically because of this thing that was said is like, okay, you're trying to point to something and you could just say the truth, which is like, we're not a match,
Totally.
you know?
Yeah. I think he ended up walking it back when he was like, "Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, that's true. You didn't say that." But it's like
Mm.
he obviously
Mind is
I
still
think
made up. That's fine.
yeah, mine is made up and people disagree about things all the time. That's the thing about like when I talk about dating and having a really strict checklist of what you think your person needs to be like.
Yeah.
That checklist, it's not static. It changes based on the person. There's so many things that Justin and I disagree on. There's so many things. I mean, there's enough things about him that on paper I'd be like, yeah, probably not. And I think the list for me might be way longer. I don't think if you asked Justin if he'd be dating a YouTuber, he'd be like,
Hmm.
fuck, yeah. Like,
Hmm.
I don't think so. And and then you know have enough parts of the connection that you're like, oh, let me learn more about why you're different in this way and actually see if it does sit well with me. And so I think
Yeah.
that he probably just didn't connect with me enough, which is very valid.
Yeah. I'll never forget when maybe like a year and a half ago when Ryan and I were still early in dating. Um, I was like fishing for compliments and for intel and whatever. And I was asking him, like, what have you told your friends about me? Like, do they know about me? Like, what have they
Compliment.
said?
I
Whatever.
love how shameless you are about
Oh
it.
yeah,
That's
I just go
what we
right
all
for
do.
it. I
Totally.
I have questions and they need answers. And
And they need to be compliments.
yeah, and they in the form of only positive things about myself. And he was like, "Yeah, I told one of my friends like about your podcast," and his reaction was like, "Oh, can you handle that?" To him, like, "Oh, is she a lot? Can you handle that?" And of course he was like, "Yeah, it's like not." I think the way he phrased it was like, "It's not what you think," or something. Like there's like such a I don't know. There's probably a perception of like if you're a YouTuber, a podcaster, a influencer,
Totally.
content creator, whatever,
I would have that
um,
perception too,
what that
honestly.
means about you, right?
Yeah.
And Ryan is a really like low key, private guy who doesn't, participate a lot in the social media world and whatever. And so I know that that's where his friend was coming from when that question was asked. But I think about it all the time of like, oh, is she a lot? Is she too much for you? And him just being like, no, it's not what you think. Like,
It's
what's that
not
even
what
mean?
it's different.
It's different. She's
Yeah.
different.
I'm
Um,
not different. I'm exactly what people think,
what
honestly.
people think.
I'm exactly what they
Oh,
think.
I
What?
posted about this on Instagram,
Okay.
but it's relevant for the wider audience, and I want to talk about it with you. And it's gonna get you like fired up, I think.
Oh, fuck.
Okay.
All right. I'm moving the mic away.
Yeah. So I went to the bank a couple weeks ago to set up a PIN number for my credit card that's attached to our not for everyone bank account. Went to the bank. It's a like national normal bank that I've been banking with for a really long time. You have to do this in person for some reason, set up the PIN card. So I went in, sat down, they're helping me get the PIN number. And when they pull up the account, it says not for everyone podcast as like the title of the account. So that begs questions, which is fine. And they're seem really friendly and they're chatting and they're asking, "Oh, is this a podcast? What do you do?" Whatever. So it's a woman and a man in the room. And so I'm chatting with them about it. And the man is immediately like, "Oh, two women podcasting, like like doing comedy and making jokes. Like, I'm not sure about that." And I was like, "Okay, like I kind of think the world could use more of it." Or I just said some like positive passing comment to hopefully move us away. But he stayed on it and he was like, "Well, I'm a comedian, like didn't ask, don't care, never heard of you, whatever." He's like, "I'm a comedian and yeah, I have some buddies who podcast and stuff, but women, like two women, there's another one of you." Like he was so, so, so rude and so like upset to hear that two women were making jokes on a
Mm.
podcast. And I just kind of shut down, I guess, or was just kind of like awkwardly like, "Huh, yeah, can I like get my pin and move out of here?"
It's wild to hear. Like, I almost don't even have any energy for that because it's
Right.
like so egregiously. I think it's actually so egregious that I was like, nah, people don't even say that anymore. Probably some people think
Exactly.
that, but who says that? And when they're at their job working as their professional, I
Yep.
I think I'm just like, oh, well, something, I guess he was dropped as a baby or something like that. Like
Right.
I don't even
Truly.
have energy for
It
that.
was such an out of body experience because you hear about
Yeah.
these things kind of, but you also hear about them in a way that's like super extreme and extrapolated and like, oh yeah, like this perception that men might have about women, whatever, but it doesn't actually exist in life. Like it's like the most dramatized like TV version of
Mm-hmm.
what a misogynistic interaction could look like. And the fact that
Yeah.
it was playing out in front of me just didn't feel real and was just like, okay, also I don't care about this person, so it didn't like require energy from me. So I kind of just like whatever, sucked it up and got out of there. Of course, later on, I thought to myself and I posted on Instagram this joke of like he had mentioned you know how it is in comedy, like you make, 15 bucks for a set and you just like go, try to collect pen like petty change or whatever. And later on in my head, I was like, I don't know. Actually, I don't know how it is because I'm here at the bank that you work at for my podcast that like just got our first sponsor. Like, I actually am doing this successfully, and you're trying to shame me and like bring it back down
Yes.
to like where you're at. But of course, I wasn't going to say that to him. Whatever. I thought of the shade later.
That's
Um,
good shade. I love that shade.
so
I'm
posted it on
actually at
Instagram.
the bank.
Yeah, I'm actually at the bank for this bank account, but that's cool that you're
Right.
struggling.
I'm at this bank that you're a comedian at
Right. Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. Right now, clowning. So whatever. I of course didn't say any of those things to him. But then as I posted it on my Instagram, some people were
Oh my God, is
um
there more?
yes, were writing me and
Oh
saying like,
shit.
"Oh, this sucks that this happened. You should leave some sort of like feedback if you get a survey or whatever to go to his manager, that sort of thing." And I was like I'm not going to go out of my way to do that. But sure enough, I did get a survey in my email, and it was technically for like the woman who was helping me, but then there was an extra comments like box at the end. And
Mm-hmm.
so in the extra comments, I gave her like 5 stars. She was great, whatever. And then in the extra comments, I was like, I did have like an uncomfortable interaction with, I don't remember his name, but potentially this woman's manager. He made me feel a little bit like uneasy about like the business that I was coming into the bank to represent. And
Yeah.
it just came off misogynistic. Like potentially he thought we were joking around and that kind of like we were on the same page about it. So I'm not trying to like cause too much trouble for him. But at the same time, I do think he needs to know that like this is the way that that was received. And it felt inappropriate and unprofessional to be speaking to a
Mm-hmm.
customer that way about their business that banks
Mm-hmm.
with you. And so I wrote something like that. Like I didn't want it to be a whole big
Nice.
deal, but it was just like, this
Sounds
should
great.
be stated.
Yeah.
Couple days later, first thing in the morning, it's like 8:45 a.m. I get a
Oh my
call
God.
from an unknown
Oh
number.
my God.
And I pick up because I think I had like a dentist appointment that day. So I thought it might be something about that. And I hear his voice and he's like, "Hey,
No.
I'm so and so from this bank." And I was like, "Oh, hi." And he was like, "Yeah, so I got your survey and I wanted to know why did you rate the woman a 3?" And I was like, "Oh, I didn't mean to rate her a 3 on anything. She was great. I meant to give her all 5s. I'm so sorry about that." And he was like, "Okay, yeah, I just was confused by that, but I did see your other comment." And he kind of like fumbled and didn't really say anything. He didn't say
Oh my
sorry. He
God.
didn't take accountability. He was just like, "I did see that." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And he was like,
Yeah,
"Yeah, so
did write that. Did write
right,
that.
yeah." And still I was unprepared. It's like I had just woken up like 30 minutes before this. Um and he was like, "Yeah, so hopefully we can do better in our next interaction." And I was
Whoa.
like,
The
"Right?
accountability he's taking. The
Right?"
accountability.
But of
Whoa,
course,
dog. Why
I'm
even call? Why
so
even
uncomfortable.
call?
I'm to make me more uncomfortable.
Why even call at that
Isn't
point?
that
Holy
crazy?
fucking shit. That's actually almost even more egregious
It's
than your
worse.
initial
It made
thing.
it worse. Like I wasn't trying to like start trouble. I was part of me wasn't even going to write that answer in the survey. And then I was like, "You know what? Like
And also you
hopefully
wrote it, I think you wrote it in a
in a
very
really yeah,
tame, like very
polite
reasonable
way."
way. Yeah.
Agree. Um but again, I was kind of frozen and like, what am I going to do on this call when I just
Oh
woke up and this man is
no.
just saying like, hopefully we can have a better interaction next time. So I was just like, yeah, okay, no problem.
I'm
Talk to
I'm
you
having
later.
good
Bye.
interactions wherever I go. I think the hopeful
Right.
part is up to you, dog.
I know. I wish these things come to me in the moment. You know what I
Oh, of course
mean?
you're frozen. Of course you're frozen in the
Yeah.
moment. Okay, now I'm fired up. Now I want to kill him.
Yep. So anyway, that's the end of the story. Nothing's happened since then. I've been kind of like,
Gross.
I kind of just want to move on from it. But then part of me also wants to like find somebody who's his boss and tell them about it, but I don't know if I care enough,
No,
you know?
listen, this is the only thing to do at this point is you and I go back to the bank together.
Mm.
We asked to shake his hand and ask him when his next stand-up show is, and we're going. We're gonna attend his next comedy show.
Okay.
And if he wants a new review, we'll leave it there. That's all we're gonna do.
Yeah, there it is. There it fucking is. Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll attend your comedy show and if we like it, we'll tell our podcast subscribers to go see you next time.
They're all women though, so I don't
Yeah.
know.
You might not like them, but they probably have really bad taste, actually.
Yeah, that is really interesting when you get such I think so much around whatever. The conversation around misogyny, it's like, oh, a lot of it is more nuanced. The black and white version that you're shown at like a corporate training class, like it never
Yeah.
happens quite that egregiously since the 60s. And then to see it just happening like just so plainly
Plainly.
out there, it's a
Yeah.
little kind of like, oh, okay, I don't even know what to do with that. Yeah.
Right. It's like, on one hand, it's more egregious and upsetting. And on the other hand, it's like, this is so textbook and like just rare and weird that you're still doing this, that like, I don't think I need to bother myself with it. But just the fact that he called me afterwards was the most egregious part to me, where I was like, okay, you want this to be a thing because you didn't call with anything to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and if anything, you wanted to put the blame on me. I am almost positive that I did not mess up the rating for the woman.
Yeah.
And I think he just wanted to be like, you did this wrong and you're wrong about me too,
Maybe
whatever.
maybe his supervisor was making him call the customer since he got the bad review, but he didn't want to do that, so he put in the call, but then was like made up another reason. Oh, I'm calling because like went in the back
Yeah.
room and was like, oh, I'm calling because for the other woman. I don't
Yeah.
know. Wish him
Yeah,
all the
true.
best.
That's
Shoot him in
actually
the
a good
head.
point. Shoot him in the head. I have a question for you that we got from a listener.
Chill, dog.
She wrote us and said, I've been rewatching your old vlogs, Caroline. Um, and I'm at the one you were talking about the orbs. I know
Oh.
you've mentioned quite a bit about being followed by the spirits most of your life, but I'm just curious if there has been any updates with it, and what does Justin think about it all? I feel like we've brought this up.
Mm,
We used to bring this up a lot on the podcast, and it's been a while, and people really are invested and would like these updates from you.
okay. What's the latest? Um, I mean, to clarify, I like don't believe in any of this, but I also will not sleep for an entire night, multiple nights, because I'm so afraid of it or spooked. So I like think it's silly and stupid, and I get so genuinely spooked that eventually I will like give up trying to sleep and I'll just like stay up all night because it's too
Mm,
scary. So has anything ever really happened? I don't know. Sometimes I hear a voice. Sometimes something shakes me. Sometimes there's a noise when there shouldn't be a noise. And everyone's got a million different explanations for all these. There's physiological explanations. There's things in the REM cycle. There's la 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 la. But basically, I'm spooked most of the time. And oh my god, there's
okay.
two birds kissing. I think. Wait, there's like
My
one
dad?
bird. No, there's a bird. This is weird, dude. There's one bird sitting on a branch and it's bending over and it's dangling another bird from its mouth who is not even on the branch. So it's like they're kissing, but it's like he's biting him by the mouth and he's twirling him around. Okay, they stopped.
Oh, kinky.
It was kind of violent looking. I didn't like that.
Okay.
I'll probably
Um,
take that out, but
Going
I don't,
back
yeah.
to
I don't know if there's any
the
specific
spooks.
updates. I don't know if there's any
So it's
specific
still
updates.
happening, but you're
Yeah.
just like, this is part of life and nothing's ever happened. It just, you get spooked pretty
Yeah.
regularly.
Pretty regular, pretty hard.
And they asked what Justin thinks and feels about it, if anything, if he
Um,
has any stance.
I don't think he has a big stance on it because it's so much lessened when he's not around, right? If anybody else is there, I'm a lot less spooked.
Yeah.
Um, but it's also I can't think of any good examples right now. I think saying, "Oh, when other people are around, I'm not scared," should in my head invalidate the spooking, right? It should mean like, "Oh, you're just like scared being alone." But it's like I so don't want to be scared. I am not looking for this. I
Yeah.
so don't want to be scared. And sometimes the worst is actually when nothing happens and I just get an eerie feeling about me and there hasn't been a creak and there hasn't been a noise and there hasn't been a sound and I
Ooh.
don't want to feel scared and all of a sudden I am overcome with spook and fear. That's some of the most upsetting because I'm like I can't even attribute it to the wall creaking or something. Like
So what do
I
you
don't
do
I don't want this.
when this comes over you? What's like your
Uh,
strategy? I guess, okay, sometimes you stay up all night.
yeah.
Is there
Sometimes I
anything
stay up all
else?
night. Usually what I try first is to like wrap my body in a protective manner. Um
Right. Much like me right now.
yeah, your shoulders up to your ears. Yeah, I try to wrap my body in the blankets in a protective manner and like secure pillows around myself, like secure the perimeter
Okay.
and like
Does it make you
ha-
feel better to do that? Like, does it reduce the sensation
yes.
of,
Well, it just reduces the sensation that they could get me. I don't think
yeah.
this is actually interesting to talk about. I don't know if that because it's psychotic.
No, it's fine. People just ask about it a lot. I still get DMs from people from the first time that you talked about it and you were like, don't write me
Oh,
about it, but you can write Jess about it. I still get
oh
DMs of
yeah.
people being very concerned. So if there's no update, there's no update. But
There's not really any update. It's just more of the same. This is just what my life is. There's no real update.
right.
Um, yeah, it's just that A, I don't believe in it, but B, I mean, I've never seen an adult person my age so afraid of the dark and genuinely against their will losing sleep over spooks. I don't think I've ever seen it in another person. So maybe that's
Yeah.
why it's a spectacle. Maybe that's why it's a spectacle. Or maybe
Yeah.
these are people who are like writing in who are ghost hunters. So I wouldn't call myself a ghost hunter at
Some
all.
people have said that they used to experience it and then like
I don't like that.
X thing or Y thing
I don't
helped.
even want to hear that. I don't even want to
I
hear that.
know, but I haven't told you
What thing
that
helped? Well,
input.
tell me the
Well,
things
I
that
don't know off the
helped.
top of my head right now because it's not
Damn it,
relevant to me.
Jess. Why
I
are you
open the
fucking reading these
messages.
DMs? Why are you reading these
I
DJ
open the
DMs?
messages because they start out being like, "Hey, love the podcast," and I'm like, "Oh, what's coming next?" And then
I'm in. I'm in.
you open it and see the rest of the message, and it's like, "I know Caroline gets spooked by orbs. Like, tell her that lighting sage and walking around your apartment 3 times
No,
and whatever. It's things like
no,
that."
I don't like that.
And I'm
I
like,
don't
I'm
like
not going to
that.
tell her that. I'm
Yeah,
just
you
not.
just did.
Yeah.
Okay, spoiler, you just did. But
You asked me.
I don't like that because that now I have to start looking down the hallway. Now I'm getting spooked
Oh
because
no.
that all rides on the premise of the spooks are there and this is how you can keep them outside your door. That
Yeah.
doesn't fucking help me. That doesn't help me. I want proof of like I started taking Zoloft and then I realized there were no spooks.
Okay.
Or like I checked, people have told me to check my what's the gas that can kill you?
Oh yeah. Carbon monoxide.
Carbon monoxide. Yeah, like carbon monoxide poisoning
Science.
can cause a lot of these like hallucinations and stuff. A lot of people have written me about that. I have looked into it. I don't think I'm breathing more carbon monoxide than I'm comfortable with. I think I'm breathing the right amount.
Than any other
And
person is.
I'm breathing like the average amount. I have a gas fireplace that I don't know how to use. Like, yeah, I'm breathing some carbon monoxide, but
Right.
I think it's like healthy.
Do you have one of those carbon monoxide detectors that would beep if it's like
I have
you
a
should?
defunct one. I have a defunct one,
Okay.
but sometimes I make Jason. Whoa, Justin, smell for
Jason.
gas. Who's that? Sometimes I make Justin smell for gas, and he says
Okay.
it's fine.
Okay.
Does that make everyone feel
Okay.
better?
I don't know. I'll find out in the DMs. I don't know what they're looking for. This is the most foreign concept to me because sometimes I do get spooked at night, especially if I've been watching a scary show. And for
A
me,
spooker, yeah.
a scary show is like only murders in the building. Like I have such a
Oh
low
no,
tolerance
that's a
for
comedy. It's a
fear.
fucking
I
situational
know,
comedy. I'm pretty
but
sure.
I get a little spooked
Ugh,
and
I'm feeling spooked right now, dog.
I'll turn off the lights and go to sleep and feel a little bit like something could be in my apartment, but then it passes and I fall asleep. So I
Yeah,
don't, and it only is directly related to when I'm watching something that I deem a little bit spooky.
such
So
as the
it's not the same.
network cable comedy only murders.
Such as Steve Martin and Martin Short joking around with Selena Gomez.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I get that.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything else? What do you think?
Um,
I'm not sure if some of the things that were said about either DJ Man or Bank Man need to be trimmed, for like sensitivity. I never know. So that's why I'm trying to like get
I
a
don't
little
know
more
what the
content.
fuck. I don't know if anything was sensitive about DJ Man. But let it the fuck out there.
Okay.
This somebody anonymously I'm referencing who was in my life. I'm allowed to do that.
Yeah, very true. No, I don't have a problem
Bank
with any of
Man.
it. But I know in the past we've
That's true.
sometimes
That's true.
revisited those things.
Our
So, which
own
is why I'm trying to
sensitivity.
like
Yeah.
have a
Oh,
little
true.
more
Okay,
content in here.
cool.
This is all
I feel like
internal, Abby.
we talked about Bankman for a while, but we evolved the conversation. So
It
I
was
don't
a
fucking
long
know.
story. It could be probably maybe tightened, but yeah. Okay.
I don't even think it was a long story. We just like we went on a bunch of different conversations based on that, which
Yeah,
is called
which is good.
podcasting. So
Yeah.
I think that's good. Yeah.
Okay.
I think we did it.
Okay, we did it. She said that we did it, so we did it.
Wait, I'm trying to see if I have anything else stupid to say.
I know, me too. I still want to be stupider real quick.
Oh, well, Google has a new feature where you can
What's up with
hum
you and
into
these
it.
tech features today? Did you go to like techreport.com before this and be like, what are the hot topics for my podcast today?
I can't get over the posture and disdain with which you just said that at me.
So
Big
surprising.
Papa. That was big Papa.
Big Papa energy.
Sometimes I look up things to talk about when all the things in my personal life I can't talk about.
Yeah, fair. Okay. Go on.
Yeah.
I want to know what Google's doing. I'm so
Okay, so Google
into
has a
it.
search. Gurgle has a search feature where you can hum into it, and it can identify the song.
You're kidding.
Yeah, hold on. So I was thinking we could do it with I know and I know and I know and I know. Hold on, let
That
me
is
find it.
so huge. I don't think we ever circled back on air. We circled back on our Instagram at not the number 4 everyone pod for the inter episode conversation. But a few people wrote us and figured out what song that was. So
What was
and I
the
think they
song?
were spot on. The Coldplay.
First of all, sing it.
And no. Want anyone else but you. Yeah, it's called Magic, I think, by Coldplay.
Or whatever.
But we were
I don't think it's
singing.
Magic. I think it's something else, wasn't it?
It
Or
is.
maybe it is.
It's Magic.
Okay.
I'm positive, actually. I said I think,
wait.
but I actually am sure.
Okay, wait. So Google, I think you have to update the Google fucking app or some shit. I'm gonna hum into it. Ready? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Dang it! Allow microphone. And a no. Wait, I can't sing it. What is it?
You got it.
Okay.
A little lower.
Voice search.
Does pitch matter?
You sing it to me right now. Yeah,
okay.
I think it matters.
And I know, and I know, and I know, and I know, and I know it's true. I know, and I know, and I know, and I know.
What song is this, dog?
Who let the dogs out? She said, who let the dogs out?
I think it's because I said, what song is this, dog?
Dog. Oh. So does it want the words?
What song is this? Okay. What song am I humming? Okay. I don't think this feature.
Can I say something really weird in this moment? Yeah. You look. Oh, get the mic back closer to you. You look a lot like your mom right now. Yeah, when you were turned to the side, I feel like your profile was looking a lot like her. Like a certain expression you made really gave me Lauren Winkler.
Oh, I hear that sometimes. It's because
she
made me with her body.
She did it.
Gross.
That butt.
Okay. That butt. She gave me the butt.
The Winkler butt. Okay.
All right.
Well, the song was Magic by Coldplay. And with that, I will say this has been Not For Everyone. We're a podcast and you listen to it, and that's your own fault. Not mine, not Caroline's, but we're happy to have you. You can find us on Instagram at not the number 4 everyone pod. We're on YouTube, so you can see my orange sweatshirt and Caroline's soft hair. Not For Everyone podcast. Caroline's on YouTube, Caroline Winkler, and I'm on Instagram, Jess DeBakey. Thanks, hoes.
Love
Smack that butt.
Ooh, roosh.